Ben Askren has an update. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I'll show you a little bit.
What's up, guys? Have not given you an update in a while. Figured you deserve one. Whenever this is all the way over, I actually just read through my wife's journal because I don't remember anything from May 28th to July 2. No recollection. Zero idea. No idea what happened. We'll kind of go through it all, and I just read through my wife's journal. It's like a movie. It's ridiculous. So I only died 4 times, right, where the ticker stopped for about 20 seconds.
Oh! Come on, baby. Come on, dance a little with me, would ya? Come on, dance a little with me, would ya? Welcome to the DynamiteGizmo podcast, everyone. Episode 258? I think it's 258. Why don't we take a look at the old YouTube to see what episode it is? I think it's 258. I think it's 258. Oh, God, hurry up. Here's today's card. It's tradition around here to show you the card, but it's not tradition to show you what's on the card, but you'll find out anyway because we'll talk about it. And yes, it is episode 258. Die. Die. Let me show you something. Oh, I didn't open it. I never do. We're finally back in the rhythm of things, ladies and gentlemen. And by back in the rhythm of things, I mean there's actually UFC this weekend. Hallelujah. What? How's it go? Hallelujah. I'm a what? Which means I can get back into making fight prediction sheets. So if you take a look at the screen right fucking now, I have created one. Here it is. If you want to vote, make predictions on fights, you can use this sheet. The download link is in the description. You click the link, it'll take you to a drive folder, and there you can download it for free. All right? And if you're like, what is that sheet? What are you talking about? What is it? Just go check it out, okay? You'll figure it out. Use the check boxes to vote, win, or draw, okay? It's there. It's available. It's free. I have them for pretty well every single UFC event. 100% I have them for every main number event. I don't have them for every fight night, but I have them for the good majority of them. At least lately I have been anyway. I think every single fight night this year I've made one. I haven't missed one this year. So for the next 10 years, I won't miss one. Unless I'm on vacation. And it'll feel weird to miss one, won't it? Once you get into the rhythm. I'm in a real rhythm right now with all kinds of shit in my life. I'm a rhythmed up. I'm rhythmed. That's Spooktober. I don't know. Are we going to even do Spooktober anymore? Spooktober was deemed just for the old version of the podcast. The podcast that we do now at the DynamiteGizmo Studios is UFC exclusive. So I don't know what I'm going to do in October. I kind of miss it. I kind of miss the Spooktober days. But we've moved past it now. What are we going to do? Nothing. Nothing, guy. We're not going to do anything. Don't tell me what to do, Bartleby. Why don't we get into this podcast, shall we? I want to talk about the fighting nerds right off the bat. You know I love them. I made a video essay about them. You know I love them. Everybody loves them. They're fantastic. They're rising. They're rising up. All 4 of them. Have you felt it? Something's been missing in the UFC lately. Have you felt it? because I've felt it, and I think we're finally starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. Now, there's been a lot of lull in the combat sports world recently. There's been a real big lull. And more specifically, I'm talking about the UFC, not just combat sports overall. And I'm not the only one who's noticed it. A lot of us who cover the sport have been talking about it for over the past year or so. Maybe even a couple years, maybe even 3 years. And yeah, it's been a little concerning. This used to be the most electric promotion in all of combat sports. And it felt like things were starting to slip. But honestly, I think we're starting to turn the corner now. And I know on paper that might sound a little crazy. We didn't get Chandler versus McGregor. We didn't get Ilya versus Islam. We didn't get Jon versus Aspinall. Disappointments like these sting. God, they hurt. But if you follow the sport for long enough, you know this isn't the first time we've been let down. And it certainly won't be the last. Still, what if I told you we might have some fights on the horizon that are just as exciting as those ones I just listed, or maybe even more so? There are future stars in the UFC right now. We just need to be patient. We've got Malcolm Wellmaker. The entire top at least 7 of welterweight division is full of killers. It might even be the most stacked welterweight has ever been in the entire history of the UFC. Tom Aspinall is still holding the heavyweight division together, but right now I want to focus on a group flying just slightly under the radar. That is the fighting nerds. They might not be household names just quite yet to fans outside of the immediate MMA space. But if you follow the sport even a little closely, you know who they are, and you know how good they can be. And like I said, I made a video essay about them leading up to UFC 14 at the beginning of this year. You can check that out on my channel if you haven't seen it, because I put a lot of effort into it, and I crammed it all into the very last week leading up to UFC 314, so it was a lot of work. Could have been better, but it still turned out okay. But I'm not just talking about them today to say like, hey, look, they're exciting. No. I'm talking about them today because we might be about to witness something that has never happened in the history of UFC. I'm talking 2 UFC titles in 2 separate divisions from 2 fighters on the same team. Caio Borralho and Jon Silva. Okay? Caio is scheduled to headline the France card on September 6th of this year. Right now, he's ranked number 6 at middleweight, and he's going up against Nasruddin Imavov, who just climbed to number 1 after taking out Israel Adesanya. Now, if Caio wins that fight, he becomes the next logical title challenger. Then, the very next week, literally a week later, Jon Silva is headlining the UFC Noche card in Texas against Diego Lopez. And after Diego fought Volk for the vacated title, Diego claimed number 3 in the featherweight rankings. Or maybe he already was 3, I can't remember. But all that matters is he's ranked number 3 as of right now. So if Jon Silva beats Diego, that's a direct leap into title contention territory as well. Now here's where it gets really interesting. There's speculation for months now that Yair Rodriguez was going to get the next title shot. Especially when UFC Noche was planned as a Mexico pay-per-view. But that's changed. They can't do it in Mexico anymore. So now it's a fight night. And Jon versus Diego is the main event. So now maybe Movsar finally gets his shot at Volk for the title. Possibly as early as October or maybe November. Meanwhile, Dricus versus Khamzat is locked in for August. That gives both the middleweight and featherweight divisions enough time to rest and reset. The timing is absolutely perfect. So imagine this. After all that goes down, okay, Caio gets his win, Jon Silva gets his win. Then Caio Borralho headlines a UFC pay-per-view card, fighting for the middleweight belt. And then Jon Silva co-mains the same card, fighting for the featherweight title. 2 teammates, 2 title fights, 1 unforgettable night. It's all lined up. The matchups are there. The timelines work, and the hype, it would be fucking electric. These guys represent the next generation of UFC stars. They're skilled, marketable, and they've got real personality. This is the kind of new energy the UFC desperately needs. We don't need to recreate the past with Ilia Topuria trying to be Conor McGregor. Let's build a new future. New hype, new moments we can look back on in awe. Just like we did or do with Conor McGregor. And who knows? Maybe Carlos Prates continues to rise in welterweight. Maybe Mauricio Ruffy starts climbing the lightweight ranks. We could be looking at a future where all 4 fighting nerds are UFC champions. Could you imagine that? If they were all UFC champions all at once. Even if they weren't all at once, even if they all made it to championship. If they all had a championship at some point. That's the kind of moment that brings fans back. That's the kind of energy that draws in new eyes. That's how you build something special in the UFC again. We need that to happen, and I feel like, just based off of what we're witnessing now, that is not only potential, but if things go the way they should, meaning that they both win their next fights, then this is absolutely a possible thing, and I think it will happen for sure. So let me know in the comments, who are you keeping an eye on? Which rising star do you think is about to break through? Because the next era, we may be cresting the hill upon it. It might be right around the corner. Now I know I just talked about the fighting nerds and I mentioned Mauricio Ruffy. My nose. Where did it go? Oh, it's over here. But just yesterday, when was this? Yesterday. There was an article, not even an article, just a little news snippet that came out. And I don't know if it's true. Is MMA Central someone you can trust? But it says just in, Mauricio Ruffy has removed himself from the fighting nerds per sources. Is this true? Ariel Helwani, where are you? Why would he do such a thing? You can't do that, Mauricio Ruffy. This is a thing. You guys built a thing. You can't knock it out. You can't get out of there. It's the 4 of you guys. You guys are the ones. You can't leave. Why would he do such a thing? All right, but then we've also got Carlos Prates versus Jeff Neal. Okay? Now this will rise Carlos up slightly in the ranks. This will rise Carlos Prates up slightly in the ranks, but not much. But I think this is a good match. Okay? He just had his first loss to Ian Gary. He could have won, but he held back. So this will spring him back into action, and he'll continue to climb. But as for Ruffy, dude, like Ruffy's, all the fighting nerds are good. It's hard to pick a favorite. But I especially don't want to see Ruffy leave the fighting nerds if this is true. But I don't know if it's true. It better not be, because I'll find you, Ruffy, and I'll rough you up, dude. I'll rough you up. Okay, let's move on to the next topic of discussion, shall we? Now this one, I definitely wasn't expecting to talk about, and honestly, I'm still not even sure I want to talk about it, because the news has somewhat kind of passed already. As usual. But I gotta touch on it. And I think you know what I'm gonna talk about the second I say this next word. The second I say this next word. Trump made a statement at one of his recent speeches. And it had to do with the UFC. Now, if you haven't seen this, you're living under a rock. And you need to crawl out from that rock. Because even people who don't give a fuck about UFC have seen this clip.
We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little...
They're laughing at him.
Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal, too. And
come on, man. What are we doing here, buddy? Huh? Now, am I mad about this? I don't know. I'm not exactly surprised. We all know Donald and Dana are tight. Dana even gave a speech at Donald Trump's inauguration to show his loyalty to Trump. Now, at first glance, the idea of a UFC event at the White House seems, I don't know, ridiculous and unrealistic, like they were laughing at him as soon as he said that. And they're all his supporters. But they thought he was joking. They thought it was funny. You can't have a UFC fight at the White House. What, are you kidding me, bro? But it's, they thought it was, anyone would think it's just one of those Trump one-liners that gets thrown out and there's no follow-through. But let's just zoom in on this for a little. For entertainment purposes, if nothing else, okay? First off, Dana White has always been clear. He does not do outdoor events. Ever. He said, I don't do outdoor venues because there's so many different things, from weather, it can be rain, wind, hot, cold, humidity, whatever. Which, to be fair, is a very valid point. Weather conditions could totally not only ruin the viewing experience for the audience, but it would also impact the fighters themselves, altering the fight results. Now, when you're trying to keep competition fair and consistent, you need to eliminate as many external variables as possible. But here's the thing. Both Dana and Donald are known for saying things that don't always come to fruition. They talk big. They hype things up. Sometimes plans are real, almost finalized, then boom, something shifts and it all falls apart. Still, this one feels a little different. This might actually happen. Now, why do I say that? Well, Donald is the President of the United States. So if anyone could greenlight something like this, even something as wild as a UFC fight at the White House, it's him. And Donald has a reputation for doing things no one expects. Ridiculous ideas, out of left field moments, giant swings that somehow land. Pair that with Dana, who's always said he'd do anything for Trump. Their relationship runs deep. Dana's got the ability to make history in the MMA world, and he's done it before. So yeah, I could see this happening, and if it does, it would be monumental. Not just for the UFC, but for American pop culture as well. Imagine the new fans this would pull in. But the big question becomes, who headlines that card? If that were to happen, who headlines that card? And ever since Donald John Trump put out this speech, suddenly we're seeing both Jon Jones and Conor McGregor now showing interest. The two guys who've been begging, the two guys who we, as fans, have been begging for over the past 2 years, hoping they'd give us the super fights we've been patiently waiting for. And instead, they just let us down time and time again. But now, Conor McGregor says he's interested. He got a post right here that says July 4th next year is a Saturday. Regarding President Trump's UFC White House event, I will be reigning president of Ireland just under 1 year when I step out on the lawns of the White House to throw down. Epic proportions, or as I like to call it, Tuesday at the office. Vote McGregor. Now, he says Tuesday at the office, but then at the beginning he said next year the 4th is on a Saturday. Which, by the way, it's unbelievable how all this lines up. July 4th next year, it's the 250th anniversary of the United States. July 4th is on a Saturday, which is when you would hold a pay-per-view event anyway. And Conor McGregor claims he's going to be the president of Ireland. I mean, it's not out of left field to think that this could happen. We also have Jon Jones all over social media reacting to Trump's comments, saying some ridiculous shit as well. A few days ago, he says, I just re-entered the testing pool. That lasted for about 2 weeks. Figured we'd keep everyone's options open. Oh, Jon Jones. What a crazy motherfucker, dude. He also had this. Someone posted this graphic, and then Johnny Bones says, I like this. Come on, Jon Jones. Come on. And that's not it. On Monday, he drops another message, but it's more of a cryptic message. And this is it here. Let's see. It feels nice to be the hunter and not the hunted for once. It could be interpreted in many ways. Who knows if he's just saying shit, but as most people would interpret that, that would mean that he's now fighting or hunting Aspinall rather than Tom Aspinall hunting him, because of the fact that he announced his retirement. Actually, he didn't. Well, he did announce it. I was going to say he didn't. Dana did, but then he did as well afterwards, so... Now look, there's no point in getting your hopes up too high, especially not with these group of guys. If you followed MMA long enough, you know how it goes. A lot of talk, not a lot of action. We've been in many situations before where you're almost guaranteed to have something, and then all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out from underneath you, and it all falls apart. It happened time and time again, especially in the UFC. But what if this was the plan all along? What if Jon and Conor were holding out for this exact moment, waiting for the perfect stage, the perfect payday, the perfect spotlight? Because let's be honest, the kind of money that a White House card could bring in would be far beyond anything the UFC could offer. And again, let me reiterate. The USA turns 250 years old next year in 2026. July 4th lands on a Saturday. Donald Trump is and will be the president. Dana and Trump together are capable of pulling off something this massive, especially for a historical occasion like this. McGregor's running for the president of Ireland. Jon Jones is back in the testing pool 2 weeks after retiring after ghosting Aspinall for nearly 2 years. So, could we actually see Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones and Conor McGregor versus Chandler same night, same card on the White House lawn? It sounds insane, but also kind of possible. What do you think? I think it could happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it could 100% could happen. There's no reason why it couldn't happen. Even if Dana, doesn't want to do cards outside because of weather conditions, they could come up with something. Put up some sort of tarp or tenting system, I don't know. Because of the fact that it's for Donald and it's for the 250th birthday of the United States, and all that stuff lines up, I feel like they could make it happen, and they should make it happen, and they would make it happen, and they're going to make it happen. It'd be cool. It'd be better than cool. It'd be fucking awesome. And I would buy a ticket to the White House, and I would go. And that would be my first UFC event ever attending. What a great way to start. I'm a real American. I'm a real American. I'm a real American, baby. I'm a real... Look, here's a poster here. I just saw this. Look at this. Aspinall versus Jones, McGregor versus Chandler. At the White House. UFC White House. That'd be sick, dude. It'd be fucking sick. Let's do it. Okay, we got to move on to the final topic of the day. The final topic of the day, my friends. Man, I tell you what. Weekends just really feel empty when there's no fights, don't they? Or is it just me? You get used to having one every weekend. And then there's that one weekend where there isn't one. And it's like, it feels kind of empty. I'm missing something. But thankfully, we've got some action this weekend. Now, it's not the most stacked card in the UFC, but it's certainly not the worst card we've had yet. There have been many. Well, there have been at least 2 really bad ones, specifically Blanchfield and what's-her-face. But we're not going to talk about that. We're talking about Derrick Lewis. It's another Derrick Lewis fight night versus Tallison Teixeira. Derrick, this man really loves to live his life on fight night cards now, doesn't he? Just loves it. He's one of those guys who's made it crystal clear he has no real interest in chasing the title anymore. Remember this clip? Remember this clip?
In that knockout, you get a title shot.
No, I ain't trying to no title shot. Hell no. I want to just continue fighting like taxi cab drivers right now.
Okay.
Then we can start talking about title shots.
So what year? How old do you want to be?
I don't know. We'll just see. I don't know. Let's see how active they try to keep me.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I just want to get some taxi cab drivers. Derrick Lewis. He's the Lewinator. The Black Beast. Currently ranked number 9 in the heavyweight division. And he even has a win over Francis Ngannou back in 2018, believe it or not. It was a decision win, but a win's a win. He's had 2 chances at UFC Gold as well. In 2018, he fought Daniel Cormier for the heavyweight title and lost by rear naked choke. Then in 2021, he faced Cyril Gane for the interim title and was finished by ground and pound in the 3rd round. Since then, he hasn't made a single push forward towards the belt, and honestly, it seems like he doesn't even want to. Derrick is one of those rare fighters who's here to cash checks, smash bodies, and get the fuck out. Which, as we've talked about before, it's pretty admirable. It takes a unique mindset to be that honest about your intentions, especially in the UFC, and still go out there and deliver highlight knockout reels, one after the other. So what makes Derrick so interesting? Well, it's his unconventional fight style and his origin. He's known for his explosive power, he's got poor cardio, and he's got those insane moments when he gets taken down and just simply stands the hell up. Just like his opponent's made of paper or something. He just gets up. If someone takes him down, he just stands up. And he just shakes them off. Like it's nothing. People always joke, Derrick Lewis just stands up. And yeah, I just said it, and it looks like that. But he's actually using smart techniques to create space and leverage. It's not as simple as it seems. Also, side note, did you know Derrick briefly trained with George Foreman before transitioning to MMA after his first fight? It's a little crazy, isn't it? The guy who invented the George Foreman grill? The guy who invented the George Foreman grill trained Derrick Lewis. I know he's not known for just the grill. I know this. And when it comes to UFC achievements, Derrick Lewis holds what I think is one of the most impressive records in the sport. He has the most knockouts in UFC history. Derrick Lewis, he has that record. As of 2025, Derrick Lewis has 15 UFC knockout wins. The previous record was held by Matt Brown with 13. No fighter in any division has landed more knockouts in the UFC than Derrick Lewis. That's how devastating the Black Beast truly is. And let's not forget, okay? That 15th knockout, it came by a flying knee. Yes, a heavyweight flying knee in just 33 seconds of round 1 against Marcos Rogério de Lima at UFC 291. And on top of all that carnage, which is another great trait, Derrick Lewis is just absolutely fucking hilarious on the mic. He always delivers on the mic, every single time. And that's part of what makes him such a fan favorite. Aside from the knockouts. I mean, who could forget this moment here?
I'm here with the winner, Derrick Lewis. Derrick, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot.
I understand.
And Joe came in with a banger at the end there. I understand. He says, I understand. All right? And there was another one which I wanted to show, I was reminded of earlier, where he fought in Canada. And the mic guy, post-fight interview guy, said, "Hey, Derrick, you're holding your body. Are you hurt? It looks like your body's hurt." And he said, "No, I'm not hurt. I just have to take a shit. I have to take a boom boom." He's a great guy, dude. Classic lines. I used to say that my balls was hot on a regular basis. Haven't said it in a bit, and maybe I should throw it in the soundboard alongside
I don't think that's actually Ian's son, but I don't like Eminem.
Now, while Derrick is a beast, there's a new kid on the block this weekend. Going right up against him. He's a young, undefeated, hungry motherfucker. And his name is Tallison Teixeira. Just 25 years old, 8-0 overall, 1-0 in the UFC. All but one of his wins have come in the first round, 7 by knockout and 1 by submission. Now, we've seen a ton of undefeated fighters lose their O this year. I think it's somewhere around 19, as I might have mentioned before. So will Tallison join them, or will he break through? Because this guy, Tallison, he's one of the biggest prospects in the heavyweight division right now. And let's be honest, we desperately need fresh blood in the heavyweight to give someone like Tom Aspinall a real challenge someday. I'd personally love to see Derrick Lewis versus Tom Aspinall before Lewis retires. And Lewis was even talking about that earlier today. After we just mentioned that he doesn't want to do title fights anymore, now he's talking about it. And maybe, just maybe, Tallison Teixeira is the guy to eventually challenge Tom. I'm sure he will eventually. They both finish fights early. If Tallison could survive Derrick and string together another couple of wins, he could rise through the rankings fast. Just beating Derrick alone would put him at number 9. And as much as I love Derrick Lewis, the way he talks about not going for the title, honestly, it makes me root for Tallison even more. Let Derrick keep being the fight night king. Cash checks and hold the gatekeeper role alongside guys like Marcin Tybura. But if Tallison wants to break through the gate, this is his shot. This is his moment. If he wants to prove himself in the heavyweight, if he wants to become one of the heavyweight great, and fight the Aspinall of the Tom, he's got to get through Derrick Lewis. And I think he might. So what do you think? Can Tallison take out Derrick in round 1? Or is Derrick going to take Tallison's O with another brutal first round KO? Both feel like very real possibilities. Either Tallison's going to win in round 1 or Derrick's going to win in round 1. Or it could go the distance. It's either going to go the full distance or someone's going to get a knockout in first round. It's going to go either way. And if it goes the distance, by the time they get to the final round, they're both going to be so tuckered out, or at least Derrick is, that it's going to be boring and it's going to end in a decision. So tell me what you think, dude. And if you want the fight prediction sheet for this weekend, click that link in the description. It won't be available until Friday, but it is there. And it is square. It's there and it's square and it's hairy. Just like my balls. Just like my balls. I've got balls of steel. My balls is hot. My balls was hot. My big hairy black balls is hot. Well, that's it for this episode of the Dynamite Gizmo podcast. I stretched it out a little longer this time. It's not a 30-minute episode, it's 40 minutes. Anyway, if you liked this video and you want to see more, just go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe's the most important thing. You know how we do around here. Bye!